Today we are learning the Danish Gambit. It's a very strong and fun opening for white. You can get an absolute killer position with this. That's why this can be played at any level of chess, doesn't matter what your ELO is. I'm going to teach you everything you need to know, including strengths, weaknesses, and middle game example. Pay full attention till the end. This starts with e4 e5, these two moves must be played. Then you play d4 gambling the pawn because you are not taking back, and you play c3 gambling another pawn. Now of course they don't have to take, but let's see what happens when they take. After they take, you play bishop c4 gambling another pawn. If they take, you take back with the bishop and you get two killer bishops sniping the king side, and they haven't moved their any pieces. Then you develop this knight, and if they pin the knight, now you sack the bishop and play knight e5 check. Black can't take the knight because we can take the queen, so after king move you take the bishop with the knight, and their king is very weak. Okay, next line. They might play queen g5 attacking this pawn, but you play knight f3 letting them take the pawn. Then you attack the queen, and this is the only safe square for the queen. Then we sack the bishop because if king takes we fork the queen, so they will move the king, and you play rook g7. If they takes the rook you take the bishop and their rook is trapped. But if they don't take the rook, now you play rook g3 attacking both queen and the rook. Okay, next line. They might play bishop e4 check and you will block with knight c3. Then they play knight f6 attacking this pawn. You push the pawn and they play knight e4 attacking this knight two times. But now we sack the bishop and fork their bishop while attacking this knight, and if they don't take, you play bishop a3, then we take their knight and fork their bishop. You can see how weak is their king. Okay, next line. If they play d5, now you take with the bishop. If they attack the bishop we can again sack the bishop, because if they take we take the queen. So they have to play this, but now we give another check forcing them to take the bishop, and we win the queen. But you must remember, if they play knight f6 instead of attacking the bishop, now this don't work anymore because they can give a check while winning our queen. You can already see how deadly this is for black. Let's keep going. When they gives a check you block with the knight, and if they don't play knight f6 like before, then knight f3 castle. Then you play knight d5 attacking this bishop, so they have to take the knight. You take back with the pawn attacking the knight, and then you move back. If they don't move these pieces, then you play queen a4 and you will win one of them. But if they move their pieces you still play queen a4 and they will guard this, but you don't care because you want to go here. By the way, if they play this thinking they can guard both pieces with one move, the bishop is trapped. It can't move, so you win the bishop. Okay, but if they move the knight here, then you play queen d4 threatening checkmate. If they play knight f5 you play queen g4. If they move the knight it's mate. If they guard the knight you play bishop d3 attacking both knight and bishop. If they stop the mate you win a free piece. If they don't it's mate. Okay, next line. This is a very aggressive. Play this only if your name is Magnus Carlsen. When they gives a check you play the gangsta move king f1. And if they don't play knight f6 next you win the rook, and if they do now you attack the knight. If knight e4 then sack the bishop and take theirs while attacking this, but if they play d5 now you give a check. They can't block with the bishop, that's a blunder, so take and their king will never be safe, which is why they will block with the knight instead. Then you push this pawn attacking knight, then you gives a check. Yeah, this is horrible for black. So if they accept the two-pawn gambit they are dead, but also you can gambit only one pawn, which means in this position you will take the pawn with knight, then you develop this bishop and knight. When this bishop comes, push the pawn and we sack our bishop to take this bishop. And if the bishop goes here we still sack the bishop, then gives a check, this is defended and we win the knight. If they play this here, just push the pawn and knight has to go back. Now it's like the Vienna Gambit, queen here, develop knight and bishop, long castle, and black resigns. Okay, next line. Now let's just say they see all of that, so they prevent us from playing e5 by playing d6. which also open the diagonal for the bishop, so we play knight f3 and now they can play knight f6 because this doesn't work anymore. Very smart, right? But now we play knight g5, fried liver. They play the best move knight e5, drop back the bishop. Now they can kick out our knight, or can they? Take and here we go again. If they take they lose the queen, so they go here and we play queen b3, bishop e3, bishop c5 wins the game, but if they stop that this is hanging, and rook d1 wins the queen is trapped, but they play bishop g4, which stops rook d1 and make an escape for the queen at the same time. 200 IQ move, but our imagination is beyond their understanding, which is why we still play rook d1, sacrificing the rook, at least 1000 IQ, because if they take, this is checkmate, bitch. So they have to move the queen and now they can take the rook because this is not mate, so what do we do? Short castle. Sacrificing the rook again, what a savage move. If they take we take back and they can't stop the mate, queen can't move because this is mate in one, so we bring our queen here, move bishop back and this is mate. And if they don't take the rook, what do they do? If this, take check and they lose the queen, if they move this pawn this is checkmate. Okay, next line, what if they don't take this pawn? I recommend you to take the full control of the center like this, then develop pieces and castle. And what if they don't take this pawn? Then you play knight f3, take and take, develop castle, you are good. Or you can do this, take the pawn and play f4, if they play queen h4 check you will win the knight. And if they defend it with a pawn, just develop normally and castle. That's how you can paralyze everyone with the Danish Gambit, but how do you play with black pieces? Watch this video to learn that.